Tonight on NewsNation Prime, will he stay or will he go? President Biden reportedly turning to his family at Camp David to discuss dropping out of the race. A new poll showing 72% of voters don't think Biden has the mental and cognitive health to serve as president. His campaign now leaning on record fundraising numbers, $33 million in just 4 days. But is it enough? We have the latest developments on the future of Biden's re-election campaign.
Live from NewsNation headquarters, this is NewsNation Prime.
Let's bring in our panel on this. Republican strategist Matt Klink and NewsNation political contributor and former chair of the Washington, D.C. Democratic Party's Scott Bolden. It's good to have you both back on. And Scott, we'll start with you. What do you think is being discussed among the Biden family right now? And do you think that President Biden should ultimately step aside for the good of the party?
Well, there certainly isn't a big white or black elephant in the room at Camp David. They've got to be talking about the debate prep, but more importantly, how Biden feels. And somebody's got to explain why Biden can have a bad debate night, a really bad debate night, and then go out the next two speeches, right, and be very strong. There seems to be some medical disconnect there or human disconnect there. I don't believe Biden ought to resign. It's one debate. And then he's had strong performances before. It just needs to be figured out. There's one camp that says, get out now. There's another camp that says, let's wait and see. And there's still another camp that says, give us more information. What's the polling say here? But the media and the GOP and even some Dems are talking about this. And the real problem with that is we're not talking about the campaign. We're talking about whether he gets out or whether he stays in.
Yeah, and the longer that happens, the worse for the party. We'll talk about the polling in just a moment because it does not look good for the Biden campaign in terms of what voters are saying post-debate. But Matt, I want to ask you about this, and this is something that Scott just brought up. You know, former President Trump also getting calls to drop out of the race for different reasons, in particular from the Philadelphia Inquirer's editorial board, responding with a call similar to the New York Times board that we saw, in part, quote, President Joe Biden's debate performance was a disaster, but lost in the hand-wringing was Donald Trump's usual bombastic litany of lies, hyperbole, bigotry, ignorance, and fear-mongering. His performance demonstrated once again that he is a danger to democracy. Matt, your reaction to this?
Well, let's take the source. It's the Philadelphia Inquirer, and I think that, well, Donald Trump will do better in Philly in 2024 than he did in 2020. I don't think that he puts too much heart into this. I mean, look, the reality here is that this wasn't a bad night for Joe Biden. This was a monumentally historic bad night. Very, you're hearing now the Dems are trying to say, but, Donald Trump did this. That doesn't clear the bar of Joe Biden was epically and historically bad. And it was not a bad night because the Joe Biden that we saw the other night has no bearing of Joe Biden reading off of a teleprompter that he does at events. This is the real Joe Biden. And the scary part is this is the real Joe Biden that's leading the country for the next 7 months. That's a truly scary thought right now.
Scott, you have the floor.
Yeah, you certainly want it to be a historically bad night. But take the State of the Union, for example. Sure, there was a teleprompter there, but he mixed it up with the GOP hecklers. And think about this. What's really keeping Joe Biden in the race, and I'd love to hear my colleague respond to that, is that America has had to choose. They're calling for Biden to get out of the race because of a bad performance. I have bad performances. I'm a trial lawyer. I'm not always at my top game, and I'm in my 60s. But no one other than the Philadelphia Inquirer, not the GOP, is calling for Donald Trump to get out of the race, who's a convicted felon, been found liable for sexual abuse, and been found liable for financial fraud, and lied his way through the campaign. Think about the great irony that is in this country. The other great irony is we have two very deeply flawed candidates. This can't be the best that America has to offer to the voting public, and so it's complicated all around. But I'd rather take an older, experienced Joe Biden over a lying Donald Trump any day, anytime, anywhere.
Well, Scott, I will say I definitely agree with you that if this is the best that a nation of 340 million people, right. we all need to raise our standards here.
We have Scott and we have Matt agreeing at the end of this panel. Gentlemen, thank you so much. Thank you both. Scott Bolden, Matt Klink, appreciate your time this evening.
Thank you.